Alright, it's time, everybody, for the biggest battle of the galaxy, the Star Wars universe. And we are talking about the Lords of the Mandalorian, Bo-Katan, and the Mandalorian. we got, we got, we got to talk about Star Wars Shatterpoint. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Play Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a good Wednesday evening. And yes, I am entertaining myself with the Star Wars Shatterpoint painting and the air horn. These are important things for us to be covering right now. So, anyways, we are working on Shatterpoint. This is not my personal copy. This is my LGS personal copy. Well, their demo copy, and we're currently working on. There's my man right there, Gar Saxon, right? We're working on these. I have the whole set in front of me. A lot of it's painted, actually, and I'm just going through right now, hitting details here and there, right? Bringing a little life to some of these miniatures. And I'm here to answer any questions, comments, threats. I'm actually gonna switch my Discord channel. Oh wait, I was in public voice. Let's join public voice. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm in the public voice of my Discord channel. So if you want to hop on, and you can watch from there. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to check these out from here. But yeah, here we go with some of these Star Wars Shatterpoint minis, and I'm going to be basically finishing up these guys, and then I've got Lord Maul here to work on. So a lot of red and black. I started most of that last night. What's up, Chris? And then once that's done, then it's just two characters, and then this is a done deal. This is good to go. So yeah, we're just gonna work on these guys some more, and try to get as much of this done between the next couple of nights. Because what I'd like to do is take a couple of nights off, maybe play some games over the weekend. Although my weekend schedule is now in jeopardy, because last weekend was Mother's Day, and we had plans for Mother's Day. We had like very simple plans for Mother's Day, so it was like, okay, we can catch an early game, which is what Chris and I did. We caught an early game, and then I was supposed to celebrate Mother's Day. Problem with that is the Mother's Day celebrants did not want to do anything for the rest of the day, and have therefore they're looking at next Sunday coming up to say, well, let's do a Mother's Day redo next Sunday. So I don't know how much of that I'm on the hook for, but it best case scenario, it means I'm looking at another early game this coming Sunday, if at all. Which is also rough because it's a Star Wars Legion event happening this weekend. So, anyways, so it's gonna be difficult. Gaming this weekend coming up is gonna be difficult, but we'll see what we can do, right? Just gonna get this little yellow. I don't know what that little yellow badge is on these guys, but they have them. I just don't know, like, I don't know what it is. So, but yeah, these are pretty fun. Really been kind of enjoying a speed paint, as it were. Right? It's not, speed painting isn't the most exciting stuff, but it's cool from the standpoint of, especially with a new range like this, where everybody kind of has questions like, okay, how's this going to look? It's nice to be able to say, you know what, these miniatures, the miniatures are they're simple enough and quality enough to where you can do a really basic paint job like I have here, and they're gonna look good, right? I mean, that's the gist of it, right? It's the kind of painting you want to do. You don't you don't want to do like very tedious painting when you first get a game that you're really excited for and you're like really chomping at the bit to get it on the table. Um, but you don't want the minis to be so bland and poor that you don't enjoy the finished product. And I feel like these miniatures do a great job of sort of striking that middle road, right? Saxman has a lot of cool detail. Here's another thing that I like about these miniatures is even the most minute detail is still sculpted in. So even though it's so small that you do end up kind of flubbing freehand a little bit on it, it's still much easier than having to start from nowhere, if that makes sense, right? You have at least some sculpted in detail as a good starting point for this kind of stuff. But yeah, Saxman, looking pretty good. Let's what I want to do now is I want to get a little bit of gray on here. If I have it, can't find my. I want to use Gravelord Gray and just thin it to do the smoke, because I think that will look pretty good. I think there's a little bit of Gravelord Gray. There we go. Okay, so just a little bit of Gravelord Gray, and we'll cut this with some speed paint thinner or speed paint medium. And then really the last 3 miniatures left for Shatterpoint are I'm going to actually be able to slow down a little bit and do some what I would consider to be like actual painting. So I'm just going to hit the smoke here, right? Kind of let the paint settle where it wants to settle. And you can see, like, this is extremely basic paint jobs. There's not, and it's almost like a bragging right? So that, like, oh, okay, I can do a really basic paint job on these minis, and they're gonna look good enough for tabletop. They're gonna look good, but the detail's good enough so that anytime I want to, I can come back, continue highlighting, continue building until I get to something that I really like. That's what I'm saying, right? This is for me, this is about 70 to 80% of what I would consider my normal painting process, right? So there would be, and really, it would be mostly just highlighting. That's the difference. Highlighting and additional layers to build up. That's about it. Nothing else really major here. Okay. So you can see it's just real rough. Just want to get some definition on that cloud there. And I think we're looking pretty good, right? One thing I would do if I was actually painting these to like a completion, I would do a lot more base work, right? This is really just speed paint on the base, but do an OSL in here. Obviously, a lot of people are going to want to do that. That's super cool. For our purposes, I'm not going to do it on these. So anyway, Mr. Darth Maul, and I want to get, I want to get some of the detail of like his markings on his chest and his face. I want to get some more detail in there. But I'm not going to use like a pure black when I do this. I'm going to use rubber black. Just so that it's not so what's the word, hard looking. It's not going to end up being so hard looking, I guess, when I paint this in. Okay. All right. So first thing, well, it looks like it did paint some eyes in for Maul, but I want to get the dark recesses around his eyes. So I'm actually going to redo them. Right, and then I'm actually gonna paint in some of the facial detail. It's really cool that a lot of it is sculpted in. It really kind of helps you like figure out where to go, whereas if you were normally just freehanding this, you could get stuck trying to figure out like some specifics around it. Okay. That's looking pretty good. Actually surprised at how quickly that went. You don't really, for that tabletop standard, you don't really need to do a whole lot there. It's just gonna look pretty good. So right, and then I'm just gonna dot these eyes in here. I'm dotting them with a yellow. Right? So you can see Darth, there, you can see it, right? You can see that little glow in his eyes, which is really cool. What a cool, very cool sculpt. Let's do, so obviously with the character like this, we're just going to give him a few extra details that we may not be giving all of the minis in this set. Right? So Maul and Saxman are going to get this second layer. I forget what his... Are Maul's horns metallic? Or are they like yellow white horns? I forget. Hold on. No, they're like bone. Okay. So I don't need to do that. But I can do a little bit. And then across this belt thing. Could do metal plates there. So yeah, let's do these horns like bone horns. Okay. Should have a pretty good bone color if I can find it. It's always the trick. I know I have paint. I have lots and lots and lots of paint. I don't have a good system for finding colors quickly. How about that? All right. Well, that's not bad. We can use this. And like half of this core set is just painting Mandalorian armor. and you're just painting it two different color schemes. So it really is not. When it comes down to it, it's not that arduous of a paint job. One thing that's a little confusing here on Lord Maul is making sure you get these horns without making it look like he's got hair, if that makes sense. Horns, not hair. So that means just being a little more careful and patient with these, with picking out the horn detail. Okay, so it's starting to look pretty good there. All right, yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'm liking that a lot. Okay, let's, next thing I want to do is I want to give a little bit of lighting on his twin saber here. Is that what this is called? I don't know what his stupid thing is called. It's cool, but I don't know what it's called. So I'm just going to use like a neon color. I have a little bit of orange on here, just a teeny tiny little bit. But this is actually quite nice. There we go. See how it's like I got a little bit of orange on the end there, and then I can build up this two-sided light stick. What's up, AT? Right, so I'm just going to build that color here and build it there. And just build it up where the actual like focus of the light's gonna be. As long as I can slowly build that, I think we're good. All right. So here we go, speed painted Maul, and we got the red Mando guys. I could start. Julian Assange. Could start the founder of WikiLeaks. That's the name, right? What is the color scheme of this model? So very pale, like vampiric flesh. She's got some markings on her face. Sure. All right. We'll figure out how to do this. So we want to do like a vampiric flesh, but I always like to go just a little bit warmer than the than what the box art is. Okay, so I'm gonna devise a skin color that I like. This pastel violet that's really where I'm headed. Like that should be the main color, but before I get there, I should be just a tad darker. All right, and how do I want to achieve that? Let's see. I could. So I want to be a tad darker, but not necessarily like warmer. Okay, so I'm going to try to stay in sort of the violet neighborhood. Let's see. That's a cool color. I'm keeping that out. I could use that for something. It's just a cool color. Okay, so I'm gonna I'm going to go with this blue violet. So a little bit of blue violet. And I'm going to mix that with this pastel violet. And I'm going to get this pretty thin. But this is going to look awful purple at first. So we may freak out a little bit on this step. All right, we'll mix these up. She has a pretty cool color scheme, actually. I have no idea. I don't follow Star Wars canon, so I don't know who this character is. I know her name sounds like Julian Assange, so I just call her Julian Assange. Okay. Let's get it good. So I'm going to mix those two colors together with like a fine acrylic medium. Get this, and I want this to be pretty thin. So I'm going to thin it just a little bit more. And then, yeah, we're ready to, so you can see, I don't know if you can see, but it's this really neat color. It's like a, right, it's like a violet skin color. And I think those two colors really hit exactly the target I was looking for here. Right, so let's get a base coat of the skin down. And we should have done is when me and Jason got the demo copy to start doing the building and painting for, we should have just grabbed the rule book and handed it to Chris and have Chris figure out how you're supposed to play this while we're building and painting it. Then we could try it out. Right? Got a little hair there. You see it? You guys could see it. A little fiber. Just pull that off. You already read the rules? Jason his job was to build the terrain while I'm doing this. He hasn't given us any updates on like what he's done. So I do not know if he ended up building any of the terrain. I hope he did, because then we can play some Shatterpoint and figure it out. Okay. This is really cool, the backless. Are the minis the same scale as Legion? No, they are not. They are a bit larger than Legion. Right. They're close to MCP scale. With MCP supposed to be 40 millimeter, this is not quite 40 millimeter. Not quite, just barely hitting, like somewhere between 38 and 40 millimeter. Right. So they are going to be bigger than your Legion minis. Right, let's give that a minute to dry. Let's do. What's up, Sean? Let's do some bone on the wrapping. I do not know who this model is, but I do think it's pretty cool. That's all I need to say. Oh, that's actually Oh no. So this whole midriff is like wrapped. And when you're painting this bone speed paint, you really have to be careful about letting it settle, because I find that when this color settles, it dries too warm, right? It's a very light warm color to begin with, but you gotta be careful. Like, you don't want it to look brown or orange, right? You're really just going for a bone color. So take a little time with it, let it spread out. All right. So yeah, this is what I've been painting this week. It's been pretty good for a speed paint job. It's been pretty fun. Get a little runic gray. The bottom of her, like this dress, is a kind of a strange, like azure color. Okay, I'm gonna be careful because that pallid bone color is still drying, so I don't want these two colors to touch. So I am gonna purposely miss the top edge there, so that I don't end up with brownish into this part that's supposed to be like blue-gray. Okay. Let's do some eyes. What's the name of this model? Ventress or Asajj? Asajj Ventress. Alright, I'm looking at some, like, reference art. Specifically, it's looking at, like, okay, what kind of markings does she have on her face? She just strikes me as very bald gothic princess, sort of, so we'll roll with that. The nice thing about this scale, as you can see, it's much easier to paint eyes on this scale than, say, Malifaux. This Malifaux is more of a true scale, so your facial features are extremely small. All right, let's get some for the lipstick here. There is a specific color I'm looking for, but I'll use this. This ought to work. This violet red. She's your favorite Sith. What about that weird one? That weird female one that was like Darth Vixen or something. What was the one? She's a tube head like Bib Fortuna. Cool. As you can see, it is much easier to get at facial detail with this set. Okay, let's get some white. And I suppose probably should paint some facial detail on Anakin, since we're working on that at the same time. So here's our boy Anakin. Really haven't done much on him. I don't like sand. Get me off sand. I killed them. And the women. And the babies. I don't like sand. Good old Annie. Annie? Miss Annie? I don't like sand. Padme, please. Alright. No Jar Jar Mace Windu. Not yet. I'm sure they're coming. Alright. There you go. And yes, you want facial details on this scale. I'm using a 2 brush, and as long as it's got a good tip, you should be good to go. And that. Good old gothic eyeballs. You don't love this. Alright. Let's give this skin a highlight. So we're gonna work up towards this pastel violet. Hold on. Let me do Annie's eyes. Annie, I love you, Padme. Excuse me, Your Highness, I'm in charge of security here. Why can't I be a Master Jedi? Obi-Wan is holding me back. See, this is why you don't let me play Star Wars games. Because I'm going to talk way too much trash on this game. On the movies. Not the game. The game I don't mind. The movies, yes, I will talk a lot of trash on the Star Wars movies. Marry me, Padme. Alright. So you can see, right? You can get some decent facial detail at this scale. If I was good at picking out facial detail. Luckily for you, I'm not good at that, so. I think it's harder to see that eye. But there's supposed to be, he's supposed to have his scar. Should I do his little scar there? think he's got a little scar, right? Are you guys gonna be mad if I put the scar on the wrong side of the face? That's not the canon. Marry me, Padme. Where? Anakin has great. He has great quotes. My new empire. Alright, hold on. I better pull up some Anakin Skywalker images. Do I have the... No, that's the right side. If I wanted to do it, place the scar. Okay. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Obi-Wan is jealous of me. There we go. Now we have the scar. I hate sand. All right. We'll go back to this. We'll go back to this lady here. Whoa. Uh-oh. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay. I got this. All right. So what happens? Screwing around too much. Screwing around too much. All right. Because she has much paler skin. But sometimes, like, if you're looking at the art or whatever, I don't want her to have, like, I don't know, I have this weird thing. I don't want to paint completely white skin. Even when it comes to stuff like painting Harley Quinn or, you know, some of those other models, they have essentially, you're just painting essentially white on the exposed flesh area of those models. I have a thing, like, I can't conceptually abide that. It has to be, there has to be the faintest amount of warmth in it, or I'm just not on board, right? So for this one, I'm just gonna highlight here. Right, I want the skin to look interesting at least, not just paint it white. And this will look better once we get the, like, we paint the top. And I also want to sneak in a little bit of this bone color here. As you can see, I'm just going like really, really super faint. There we go. There we go. So we're just going to go super, super faint there. And then let's paint the, we're going to paint the top part. Ah, I changed it. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah. So like that blue violet color is fantastic for this next part. And the cats decided to come in. So we're just going to see how much longer I can maintain this feed before these cats thrash, before they, kick my modem off or end this stream otherwise. That's not bad. That is not a bad. I could go with that purple. That would look kind of cool. Let's do that. Instead of the blue violet, let's go with like a more traditional purple. I think it'll look better. Oh, little kitty, don't do that. Don't do that, little cat. Okay. Cat's gonna mess me up right as I'm painting something very delicate. Right? You know how it is. Oh, you could... Cat, do not mess with me. She just thinks this is the best thing in the world to just slide under my desk. Start scratching away down there. It's playing with something. Probably the paint color I'm missing. It's probably what she's playing with. Ow, cat. Hey, stop that. This is a really nice color. Ow, cat. I think I'm about to kick this cat out of here. Oh, I'm definitely kicking the cat out now. Ah, see what you made me do, cat? We fell off. See that? See what you made me do? Okay. Oh. Get that back on. Okay. Good news, like I said, it's a really cool color. I like that quite a bit. Like, why isn't this arm all the way in the socket? It's weird. It's just a very backless top. Yeah, she does look like a goth queen here. And then she has like a purple. Let's paint this part here purple. Right, so this is going to be purple, and then it's going to have like a gold. We'll get all that detail gold. All right, let's get that down. Uh-oh. Did she manage to get into the... Oh, there she is. You guys are troublemakers. Come on. You're gonna need a new playground. Go on, you too, big guy. Go. Go. Play with you guys in a minute. Alright, here we go. Alright, so... let's do... We want like... Not... Something a little bit darker than azure. But like a good... like a blue-gray color would be good. How about this color called gray-blue? That sounds absolutely correct for what we're trying to do right now. As you can see, this is a very light color. We'll probably have to wash it to get a deeper blue effect in here. Great color. Right, it's a very versatile blue color. Personally, I think if I was not looking at some box art, I probably would have went with a much darker color scheme. It almost kind of clashes with the red lightsaber, right? So I have a little misgiving with this, how this color scheme is turning out. I think the sculpt looks great, right? And the paint going down looks pretty good, but it's the color scheme that I'm not sure of. And why is my paint foaming? Why is my paint foaming? Right? See that? You know, a little junk right there. What is that? Get rid of it. What's that junk? Yeah, honestly, this is the color that the belt should be. So let's do the belts this color also, and then I'll shade the rest of the skirt down. Okay, not bad. We're getting there. Let that dry. Let's do a little bit of the red for the lightsabers. Just making sure I got it all. So she has that Dooku style. She has the Dooku style sabers. And I forget the name of the actual sword that handle is patterned upon. It's like a Filipino like style sword. All right, let's mix a little white into this violet and give her a top level highlight, just really lightly. Right. So what I like about this is you can still believe that even though there is now a lot of white paint on the skin, it still has some depth to it, so it still looks like skin, right? Okay. And I can also do markings. I could do freehand markings like the way they've got it, but I think we're okay just leaving it. What I could do, let's just do a little bit of freehand marking. Gotta be careful here because the dress is still wet. You know what? Not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because I'm gonna ruin the rest of this paint job. Because things are still wet on it, so not gonna do that. All right. She does have like these glyphs on her dress, so we can hit those. I want to use rusty brass for that. And these AK metallics are fantastic for doing this kind of work, right? If we're going to do filigree or this sort of detail work. You can see how nicely these AK metallics handle this, right? It's just nice. You've got good control. You can pick out the detail. You can see, got there we go. Okay. And I can do, I might as well just do this, even though this is actually, let's follow the box art. So I'm going to do this in kind of a darker steel color up here. And while we're at it, let's do these lightsabers. So it looks like tomorrow, the main focus is going to be on just getting Anakin done. And then we're going to be in like really good shape as far as getting this all painted. One thing that's bugging me is I got a nick there, right, on that saber. And oddly enough, you can see if I close up on it, it's actually a gash. So it's not like a tag that you could just hit with your blade. It's actually a gash into the lightsaber, which sucks. Alright, let's get, so she kind of has like a blue-ish wash here. So let's see, do I have like a good blue wash I can apply here? Maybe this marine blue? Hold on, is azure even dry yet? It's not. I want to give that time to dry. Okay. Well, if I can't do that, then what is there left to do on her right now? Oh, well, I can at least finish doing this. Let's see. Yeah, I can't coat that. It's too big of an area that really has to dry. In fact, I'm still missing spots, so probably from when it was foaming. And also, while we're waiting, do the gray on this part of the base. Like that. Okay. All right. Last thing I want to do for right now kind of get all the black bordering down on these minis. So yeah, I mean the core set is pretty simple painting. All right, if you paint Legion stuff, this stuff is just a cakewalk. There's nothing really to be concerned about here. It's just, it is like 15 bases out of the gate, right? Because you could call them models, but the droid bases have 3 B1 droids on them. Then again, it's just B1 droids, which are the easiest things to paint, but very difficult to build at times. Although I would say the Shatterpoint B1 droids are very easy to build. The only issue you may run into is the head is in 2 pieces, and the back of the head is a smaller piece, so you got to be careful with that. But definitely nowhere near as fiddly as, say, the Legion version of the same model. So yeah, red air horn and blue air horn are done. So really the only thing left to do are these last 2 characters. And Asajj is moving along pretty nicely. And then it's just Anakin. That's it. Core set is done. Ready to hit the gaming table so we could figure out how to play this game. All right. Okay. Uh, let's see. Can I do... Now can I hit this with the... Oh, I need to paint down here. Never mind. Can't, because still have parts to paint. Like right there. Alright, well that kind of ruined any hopes of finishing this model start to finish tonight. That's okay. Still pretty, pretty productive evening. It's really just... So tomorrow it's really just finishing this model and then Anakin. And then we're done. And yeah, then we can get to trying out the game. As you can see, painting you can keep pretty simple. And it's gonna look, it'll look good, right? It'll look pretty good. Here's a Captain Rex. So even things like the helmet detail, that's sculpted in. So it's very much easier to do Captain Rex's helmet. And even like the weird head tail things, all that detail sculpted in, so it's very easy to do stuff like that. So anyways, I think we are gonna call it there because I don't want to sit around and just wait for this to dry completely before finishing this model. I'll just get some decent sleep tonight, and then I'll finish painting these tomorrow night. All right. So with that, we're gonna call our stream to a close. Thanks everyone for joining and watching, and we'll catch